Parking, brought to you by Wright Honda and Wright Toyota out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm your host, Jhae Pfenning, broadcasting. Well, it's not really right. Broadcasting is live, right? Recording from my home studio in Gilbert, Arizona. Man, finally took down my Christmas lights. And I had a thought as I'm taking down these lights. You know, we used to live in Michigan. I think I've talked about that before, where in Michigan you have your white winters, you have your white Christmas. Certain parts of Arizona is definitely very white, but it doesn't snow everywhere. I've never seen Christmas light strings any other color than white and green. No, there's probably brown. Maybe there might be brown. I don't think there's brown. There's definitely brown and green extension cords made specifically for lights, but they need to make black. They need to make black Christmas light strings, black or dark brown, because that's going to match more homes than white or green. I think most people just get green because from a distance you can't tell if it's green or black. Fair enough. I just thought about that as I said it. But we have a dark, like our house is almost white and then a super dark brown. So with the dark brown trim, we wanted black, but it wasn't in the association, or the HOA wouldn't allow it. So what we did is we picked out our colors and we added more white to the light and more dark to the brown. So it basically looks like it's white and black. But why don't they do that? Like the cost of the Christmas lights themselves, and I realize this is, January. Why am I talking about Christmas lights? Well, because I just took them down. But it can't cost anymore. Like if there's one thing that there's plenty of in this world, it's wires. There are so many wires in this world. Wires, everything uses wires. Obviously, everything electrical, and there's not much out there that's not electrical. Anyway, I'm going to get off of that because I'm kind of carrying on a little bit. Coming up on today's show, I preview the Future Collector Car Show. It is back. Last time it happened, it was in 2020. And then, of course, the pandemic era hit. And then we didn't have it, but here it is for 23. Jamie, the nomadic X-ray tech, will be joining us to talk about her travels in her rental cars. Some car news for you and a random thought of the week. But, of course, before we go any further, got to tell you about 4Wheel Online. For over a decade, 4Wheel Online has been providing, that's 4Wheel Online, by the way. I know I say that kind of fast, and I elected not to play the commercial this time. But 4Wheel Online has been bringing the best truck accessories for truck. You know what? Forget it. Jhae Pfenning here, and I want to tell you guys about 4Wheel Online. For over a decade, 4Wheel Online has been bringing the best truck accessories and truck parts to enhance the appearance and performance of all trucks and SUVs. They are dedicated to providing an extensive range of upgrades that will match any maker model on the road. The truck products cover everything you need to give your truck a custom look and added functionality. And if you need a tire and wheel package, head over and use the configuration tool. They carry all the major brands of wheels and tires, so go get outfitted today. So visit them online at 4Wheel Online or call them at 813-769-2451. Again, that's 4Wheel Online, the number 4 Wheel Online. So as I mentioned in the opening, the Future Collector Car Show is coming up. In fact, it's this next weekend, which is January 22nd. This time it is being held at Barrett Jackson. So it starts the Barrett Jackson Auto Auction Car Week out here in Scottsdale, Arizona. And this is the premiere, in my opinion. Barrett Jackson, people come in from all over the world to attend. And it's pretty cool. In the past, the Future Collector Car Show, I think it was independent, and then it was picked up by ClassicCars.com when Rebecca Wynn was kind of spearheading that campaign. You guys remember I had her on last year to talk about it. So this year it's a big deal being at Barrett Jackson. And I think I said it before, and if not, I apologize. But, she reached out and asked me if I wanted to be the co-MC. I was like, hell yeah. Hopefully by doing so, I can kind of spread the word of this awesome podcast, although I don't think I'm allowed to promote anything. So maybe I should be getting paid. I don't know. But the main MC is a girl that goes by the name of Bogey, like Bogi. She's a host on Motor Trend TV for a couple of their shows, Bogey's Garage. You can catch her on Instagram at Bogey's Garage. TJ Hunt's going to be there. You can look him up. I haven't heard his name in a while. It's pretty cool he's going to be there. He's a celebrity guest judge. Larry Chin Photo is also going to be there as a celebrity judge. And probably a few more people are going to be announced. So I'll be in pretty good company. Also, Fielding Shredder. I reached out to Fielding from Netflix Hyperdrive. He was on the show a couple times, one for the Super Bowl pick and also to kind of give his story a couple years ago. he's going to be there, not as a judge, but he's going to be doing ride-alongs in the Toyota Supra. So if you're local to this and you're going to be at Barrett Jackson, make sure you go to the ride-alongs and hop in the car with Fielding Shredder, celebrity grassroots drifter. You guys never know. Maybe I can secure him and bring him over here to the studio. And that'd be cool to have Fielding Shredder live in studio. And maybe it'll be a good opportunity for me to book more of these guests in motorsports. It's kind of hard to break into that segment of people. And those of you who know me know that I know a lot of these type of people, but I'm still not quite in there. Like I've had people on here that's like, hey, kind of, hook me up, get me in front of so-and-so. And they're like, yeah, I got you, fam. I got you. Looking forward to Future Collector Car Show. In 2020, I was there. I got second place for Best Modified, which is, that was with the old car. I have a thought for you guys. This is my random thought of the week. And I've actually found myself kind of guilty of this. People who want to reach you, they want to say like, hey, you want to go grab some food? Or what are you doing Friday? Or, hey, I've been really trying to reach you. This is important. But they send you a social media direct message instead of just texting you. Like when they have your phone number. My deal is you have my phone number. There's no easier way to get a hold of me if you have my number than to text me or call me. If I lost your number, you should text me because I have like this AT&T call protect. And if I don't have your number, it's going to go straight to voicemail and my phone isn't even going to ring. So I'm not even going to know you called until I look down and I say, oh, one missed call, block, unknown, spam risk. But it's this thing, like I've done it before recently, but I don't understand why it happens. If you want to get a hold of me, if I want to get a hold of somebody else, text. I've recently learned from watching, what's that commercial where the guy's trying to prevent you from being your parents? It's kind of a funny ad campaign, but some of them are kind of dumb too. But in one of those commercials, the guy's like, what did she do wrong? She left a voice message. I'm like, leave me a message. Like, I'm from an era where they say, did you call me? Yes. Did you leave a message? No. Well, then you didn't call me, did you? I'm that guy too. If you say you call me, if it was important, you would have left a message. But I guess that just makes us old. But I'm getting off topic here. If you want to reach me, text me. Don't send me a message on social media, especially if it's time sensitive. So she is one of my most favorite people I've ever met in my entire life. She's probably hearing that for the first time right now. We worked together for a while at the hospital, but I recently discovered she is traveling around, which obviously first thing I think of is rental car of the week. As you guys know, I no longer travel every single week for work. The only time I do a rental car is when I travel for pleasure. So, Jamie, the nomadic X-ray tech, welcome officially to Hard Parking.
Thank you.
Who are you and what do you do other than obviously the X-ray tech?
I am a traveling X-ray tech, but also a million other things. But for the sake of this, we're going to keep it as traveling X-ray tech.
I love it.
That way.
I love it. You're just going to blow past you being one of my favorite people on the planet.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that.
I like to surprise people.
I hope it's true.
Absolutely.
I hope it's true. I feel like you probably say that to everybody on here, though. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt.
Everybody who's an X-ray
You're my
tech
favorite
travels.
podcaster.
I'm guessing you don't listen to podcasts.
I mean, I don't, but that doesn't count.
No,
it doesn't matter. You're still my favorite podcaster.
I don't need to know. I'm just happy being your favorite podcaster. And so so you get these cars. So how do you go about getting these cars? I mean, who pays for it? How long do you have them?
Normally with traveling healthcare assignments, you have to get your own rental car, or a lot of people will drive out, and so they will have their own car. I negotiated in my contract where they cover it, so the agency pays for it for me. Slight issue with that is that I don't always get to pick what I get, and it's only what is available at the time when I'm there. So however long I'm there, whether it's 3 months, 1 month, I get the car for the entirety of that time.
Is it a different company? So you've done this a few times, right? But is it a different company every time, or it just depends on who they have? But if you go back to the same job site, it's like, okay, this week it's Avis. Next month it might be Enterprise.
It's always been the same company because I go with the same travel agency. So I'm technically signed up with 3 different ones, but there's one in particular that I keep going to because they give me the best options and they include my rental car. So it's always like, I think it's Avis and Budget are together as one, maybe. But it's always through the same company.
So talk about, like, what are some of your favorite cars you've had so far? Like, what do you look for in a car? And the reason why I have you on here is not only because you're awesome and you're cool and I miss talking to you, but also obviously you get a rental car. But I don't really ever peg you as like Jamie the car person. And so having someone on here that just drives a car, you kind of know what you like in just a normal car, and that's why you're here.
So I never used to be a car person. Here's something you don't know about me. I recently got a Volkswagen Tiguan Blackline R Edition, and it's got cinnamon interior, and I fell in love with the car for the first time in my life. So now I understand the love of cars.
Well, tell us
now
about
the problem
that.
is about my car.
Yeah, tell us about your Tiguan.
So I was in need of a new car, and once I found it, I wanted it, but it's very rare. So I actually had to drive to Iowa to get it. And I had taken a travel assignment, and all of the money that I had for that assignment, I saved, and I paid for that car in full when I bought it. So not only is it my favorite car, but I was able to walk in like a boss and be like, it's mine.
And meanwhile, they're laughing. They're like, this crazy chick just paid us full for this car. That's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Especially in this market.
Yeah. The other thing too is I could find the same car. There was one other option in Michigan. I don't even remember where it was, but it was almost 10 grand more than if I went to Iowa to get this car. So I found it online. They didn't even post pictures. And they were like, oh, we just posted that online. And I was like, I want it. It's mine. I will be there tomorrow. And I drove down the next day and I got it.
Like, how did you know you wanted
it? Once I saw the car, there was just something about it. It drew me to it. Like, it's white with the cinnamon interior. So it's like a light tan interior. It's got titanium pedals and full moonroof. She's beautiful.
Wow, that's nice. So just off of looks, I think I know what that looks like. Send me a photo of it. We went to Buffalo for the Bills game this year, the first Monday night game against the Titans when they whooped the Titans' ass. And one of the one of Yvette's cousins had like a new Tiguan, and I think it looked pretty sharp. It's probably what you have.
Did it have the black rims?
Yeah, it was like all blacked out. But it was like a darker gray color. But it didn't look like they did anything to it. It looks like they just bought it kind of badass.
It probably is like the black edition R line. I would almost guarantee it. But yeah, I'll send you a picture for sure. I love showing off my car.
That's funny. So in knowing that you love this car, and how long have you had this thing?
I just got it this past year, so not even a full year.
Okay, so now when you travel, are you comparing what you get to your car?
It's pretty much ruined any car I could ever get.
Right.
Yeah. So I haven't had bad cars per se, besides the minivan, but everything else, it's less than now that I have my special car. So
do you remember much about the minivan? Do you know what kind it was?
Yeah.
Tell us about it. Why did you hate it so much?
It was a Dodge Grand Caravan.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I don't know do you know how big they are? So when I went there, they were like, we're actually sold out of everything. There's a Google conference, and they all took little cars. And I was like, what's the smallest you got? And they were like, a Dodge Caravan. And I was like, that seems pretty big. And she was like, it is, but also I don't have anything else to give you. I was like, okay, Dodge Caravan it is.
Right.
It was like driving a minibus. And I'm so little that I literally had to move the seat all the way up to the front just so I could reach the pedals. It was sad on every level.
Yeah, you're pretty short. What are you, like 5'2", 5'3"?
Yes, 5'3".
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty short. So, but you kind of fit it, right? Because people are just waiting to see if there's like a bunch of like soccer kids that kind of crapped out the door when you get anywhere you're going.
Well, and it was funny because like when I go on these travel assignments, I pack very little because I don't need a bunch. So it was literally just myself and then my tiny suitcase and this huge van. And I'm a good driver. Okay. I need to state that before I say the next. But I was hitting curbs left and right because I was not gauging how large this vehicle was.
Right.
I would have parking spots that I was like, yeah, I don't even want to attempt that. I'm just going to circle around until I find something else. Like, it was too big.
Well, you know what's interesting is when we worked together, you had like a Volkswagen as well. You had like a Passat or it had the
I do
chrome
love
on
my
the front.
Volkswagen. Mm-hmm. Good memory. Yeah.
I told you, you're one of my most favorite people in the world. So what else have you had that you can recall right now? Because now moving forward, you're going to have to like seriously take notes. Like, well, okay, what is this? Is it loud? Does it suck? Does it have CarPlay? It doesn't have CarPlay. I'm going to run this thing into a tree and then set it on fire and say it got stolen.
I thought about that with the minivan, but I didn't do it. One thing I will say about the minivan, the sound system was impeccable. Like the bass and everything. I did not expect it. It was the only good thing about it. But since then, I've had Iowa. When I drove there, I obviously used my own car, but I've had a Mazda CX-3, and it was rough. Like I actually felt like I had to take pictures to show I wasn't the one who jacked it up because
Oh, wow.
it was that messy of a rental car. And then I had a Jeep Cherokee, I want to say, but like a new edition, like kind of like it had like red stitching on the seats. It was kind of like
special.
a pimped out version of, yeah, it was actually really nice. And that was the first one I had. So I got a little too spoiled. And then I got the minivan and then I got the janky. So it just keeps getting worse, I feel like.
Oh, God.
At this point. So hopefully my next one will be a little kinder to me.
It's going to be a Kia Rio. I can feel it right now.
I know. I'm just going to take it at this point. It'll be funny.
So do you know, as of right now, so this is mid-January, do you know when you're going somewhere next?
February. Where I'm going, I don't know yet. That's to be determined, but I will know that this week. So,
well, that'll be good because then remember, take notes, and we'll connect when you're on the road, and we'll do another one of these, Jamie.
And I will update you.
This is the first. I'm going to ask you this. I've never asked anybody this before. Do you have anything for me?
Ooh, yeah, actually. Since you're familiar with rental cars, what was your worst?
Worst rental car experience. That's a good question on the spot, knowing that I'd ran one like every week for.
Yeah, I figured
like
you'd have one
years.
like right off the bat.
I don't know if I've had a worse. You know what? I do have a worse one, and this was very recently. This was when we went to Buffalo, actually, and it wasn't the car itself. It was the fact that, I'm befriending the guy, cracking jokes, and he's like, "Oh, what do you want?" I go, "Well, I want an SUV." He's like, "All right, well, I got this really cool one." I think it was I have to go back and listen to that episode, but I think it was a newer. Oh, it was like a new RAV4.
Like, I didn't even know they still made those.
Oh, yeah. They look nice. Toyota RAV4.
Okay.
I go, "Oh, this is nice." He goes, "Yeah, man, I'm going to hook you up, my friend. This is really nice." So I get in it, and it smelled like someone just smoked an entire pack of cigarettes. Like literally the guy who cleans the car is probably just smoked with all his buddies on break in the car. And so I'm like, man, I can't believe this. I mean, this is nice. It's got, CarPlay, wireless. It's got a charge pad here. It's got all the bells and whistles, moonroof. Man, this is nice. I go, I don't know about this smell. I said, maybe Yvette won't care. And then, so I left and I drove around. I picked up our coffee at Starbucks, and then I immediately went back. I didn't even go to the hotel. I was like, look, man, I can't.
Immediately gave up on
this, dude. This car, it smells terrible. And then he traded it out for like an Explorer, which I love getting Explorers. They're big. I like SUVs. But
decent, yeah.
It's just that was recently my worst rental car I've had because I'm kind of a rental car diva. So if I get in a car,
can I ask you a follow up then? What your favorite was then?
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
But I'm a diva in the sense where I'm like President's Circle or whatever it is, And when I get in a rental car, and this happens a lot lately because of the pandemic era, right, and the chip shortage. And I'm looking down, I'm like, this fucking thing has 50,000 miles in it. Like, why the fuck am I 50,000 miles on a rental car? It's got to be like at least 250 in a normal car.
Yeah.
So it's going to have its creaks and shit like that, and it's going to kind of smell like what's that?
That's
Simple
like what
Green.
my Mazda was like.
Yeah, and I'm like, God, it's just
Yeah.
like, what are we doing? What's my favorite rental car I've had? I've had two. I think the one that I felt the most Mac Daddy cool in this was in 2019. I was working at Atlantic Health in New Jersey. And every once in a while, the rental car places kind of tease you. If you have status, they put the car that you have to pay extra for, like over in your section.
Yeah. Right.
And so that day they had like an entire row of like BMW 540s. So I had a white BMW like 540M, whatever. And it had no CarPlay, but sometimes you just don't care for a week.
If the rest is good, it's okay.
Yeah, because, my tagline is no CarPlay, no Jhae. And because what I'll do is unlike you, I go to these places most of the time, unless it's a small airport, you get to pick your car. Mm-hmm. So I'll go from car to car and I'll have my little iPhone with me and my little lightning cable and I'll plug it in. I'm like, CarPlay? No CarPlay. I'm out.
I always cross my fingers for that too.
I actually left a suitcase in a car once because of that.
Really?
Yeah, I bailed. It was a pickup truck, and I put my little rollerboard thingy in the back seat. I went to plug it in. I go, this thing don't have CarPlay. And this is like 12:30 in the morning. And I went to the next car, and I go, oh, this has CarPlay. I'm out. Woo! And then I drive all the way to the hotel, and I'm like, fuck. This sucks. So it's a 40-minute drive from the airport to the hotel. So that was a long night.
That's funny.
The next person had seen it and they're like, hey, somebody left their suitcase here. So,
I feel like that's something I would do. So I can laugh at you because I would do the same.
The first world problems only trap people who travel all the time.
Right.
So Jamie, I look forward to more of these conversations and look forward to hearing about your next car. And
yes.
Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. This was actually a lot of fun.
This article, Tesla has slashed global prices on its electric vehicles by as much as 20%, extending an aggressive discounting effort and challenging rivals after missing Wall Street delivery estimates for 2022. The move marks a reversal from the automaker's strategy over the past 2 years when new vehicle orders exceeded supply. Supply and demand, man. It comes after Elon Musk warned that the prospect of recession and higher interest rates meant it could lower prices to sustain growth at the expense of profit. Like, how mad would you be if you had just bought a Tesla for like $120, like $120,000 in December? And here we are. I don't know when this kicks in. I don't know if it's immediate or not, but you look up and the exact same vehicle you bought in December now costs $90,000, $95,000 for the exact same vehicle, exact same trim, out the door, $25,000 less. If this was one, because it says up to 20%. My math isn't good. Maybe 12,000 is 22,000, because if you take 100,000, 20% of that is 20,000. But then if it costs 120,000, then 20% of that is, how many? That's 4,000. So 90 something thousand. I'd be kind of upset. I'd be looking for like, hey, do I get a kickback? Do I get I don't know. I can't care that much because I don't have a Tesla. For example, here we go. The U.S. price cuts on Tesla's global top sellers, the Model 3 sedan and Model Y crossover SUV, were between 6 and 20%. That's a big difference, by the way. 6 and 20%. Do you want a 6% bonus or do you want a 20% bonus? So the calculation showed within the base Model Y now costing $52,990, down from $65,990. That's significant. That's some shit. It's like Jamie, right? That's some shit that'll make you drive from Michigan to Iowa. That's a lot of money, especially when you throw in interest rates and you're paying on this thing. It's the first you paid all of hers down. It says these cuts are before a $7,500 U.S. federal tax credit that took effect on many electric vehicles on January 1st that could bring discounts down to even more than 30%. Tesla also cut prices for Model X luxury, crossover SUV, and Model S sedan in the United States. I don't want to read about this anymore. And that is the car news. It's kind of refreshing this episode, not getting into any controversy. I know the first two episodes kind of started off rough, but, I have my stance. Last we heard about the Houston shooting, the self-defense at the taqueria is it was in the hands of a grand jury. The grand jury was trying to decide if they wanted to bring charges on the shooter, which tells you it's not open and shut. It tells you it's okay to embrace the conversation. That's all I'm saying. So with that being said, I want to thank Right Honda and Right Toyota, 4wheelonline.com, Sell Shop Wireless Services, Patreon Business Supporter, Quick Automotive out of Wind Garden, Florida, Hill Construction out of Caledonia, Michigan, Beak House Small Home Design, Ashburn, Virginia, and Traverse City, Michigan, Westgate Exotic Cars and Rentals out of Glendale, Arizona, and Shaving Success with West Tangley out of Boise, Idaho. If you're in a position to help the podcast upgrade, join the Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You get access to Mark Stolman, Catherine Croc, Sadie Ramos, Richard Graves, Byron Jones, Bo Jung, Alex Camina, and Drew Bunker. You should get a Hard Parking Podcast t-shirt, hardparkingpod.com. Instagram at Jhae Pfenning, JHEPFENNING. Join the Hard Parking Violations Facebook group, because I can't grow without you telling the world how great the show is. Let's do this. Let's grow this thing together. Izzy, take them home. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Shut up!
Now it's stripping time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.